Are you struggling for consistency in your sim racing? Does your iRating look like a roller coaster? If so, we have good news for you. The way to get more consistent is to first understand what you're doing differently than the professionals. And VRS is the answer. With our competitive subscription, you will have the telemetry, setups, tutorials, and everything else you need to fully analyze your driving. Our data packs and the ability to compare your driving with the best in the world will show you exactly where to adjust your inputs, change your driving line, and shave seconds off of your lap times. And our powerful and precise Direct Force Pro wheelbase and precision pedals are being used by some of the world's best drivers. All these champions agree that VRS hardware is not just the best on the market, it's also priced well below the competition. So if you're looking to upgrade to direct drive and the best pedals in sim racing, VRS is your answer. If you want to get better, get faster, and make it happen sooner rather than later, you owe it to yourself to find out why so many people are switching to VRS. You'll be so glad that you did. Visit www.virtualracingschool.com and learn why the best use VRS.
Howdy, 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 and welcome to the SRF Weekend Warriors presented by Race Voice. We are here live from beautiful Long Beach, California, here on the west coast of the United States of America. I am Austin. I'm joined.
Very, very tight track. Lots of dangerous corners with these little spec racer Fords, and I'm looking forward to just a very, very interesting, maybe possibly chaotic race, but it's going to be fun for sure.
Absolutely, it's going to be a lot of fun, and yeah, you're running on 4 hours of sleep. I think everybody here at Apex hasn't slept yet. We're still partying in the morning from our double win. And I keep saying "our." I was just a spectator the entire time. I had no affiliation with anybody. I was just enjoying it. There was a little bit of bump drafting involved, but hey, so you got to get that at times, and it's Daytona, so it's kind of expected. But
Absolutely.
yeah, talking about Spec Racer Ford, some of these drivers were in the race. We're racing Daytona. They've hopped over here to just enjoy the community of Spec Racer Ford and maybe hope for a better race in there at Daytona 24, or just want to chillax and enjoy the race like we've always done. Or they didn't participate in the Daytona race, and this is their marquee race for the week, because I know some of the drivers, some teams just don't focus on endurance races because they're only a single seater series, or they only focus on one thing. But the big thing we're going to be seeing right here, like we just saw with Felix, this track bites. If you get a corner wrong, if you just go a little bit more than you should, you're going to be hitting that wall and getting either floor damage or definitely some visual damage and bodywork damage. But yeah, floor damage, wheel damage, suspension damage, damage. It's going to be all about damage and all about attrition this race. And
Yeah.
big talking point is going to be that final corner, that hairpin, and turn one leading into the fountain corner. That's where I'm expecting a lot of incidents to happen. We see hairpin issues all the time happen, and cars going a little bit wide can hit that outside wall or put in a little bit too much mustard and spin all the way down to the inside of the track. About 70 points to Dudu Castro in second place. Kane Lasky and Jason Green and Felix Samoz, your top 5, and I'll let you read Spec 2.
All right. So Spec 2 championship standings, we have Ian Gibson, 171 points, followed by Bradford Gould, Daniel Wood, Todd Hansen, and Paul Jackson in your top 5. Much tighter at the top of this board than it is of Spec 1.
Yeah, Spec
So
2 separated by just 3 points, and the Masters, I don't even have to see this graphic. York Monty.
George Monty. Yeah, he got a nice gap over Chris Murakami, who had a great race with the win last week because Jorg had an incident and or ran out of fuel. I think he ran out of fuel, as a matter of fact. So that's tightened
I think it was out of fuel. I'm not.
Yeah.
I didn't get any confirmation that it wasn't out of fuel, but it was just so unfortunate for Jorg that last time by. But yeah, he sits ahead at 228, but it's Jorg versus Murakami right now. But Jorg is currently sitting in second place. Antonio Reese is in 6th, and Murakami is down in 12th. Long Beach, though, it's about the speed, but it's also about being safe around here. Some drivers can really exploit this track to really make it work for them, but can they continue to do that throughout the race? Can they make that work throughout this entire time? I don't know. So I'm expecting, yep, there's another car on the inside of the wall. I'm expecting a lot of carnage, and I'm kind of expecting somebody that we're not expecting to take this win.
I mean, if any track will bring an unexpected winner, it would be this one, because you're going to get that run down into turn 1. They're going to be fighting 2x2 going down in there, maybe 3, maybe 4 wide, who knows? But the cars won't go through that way. They'll go in that way, but they absolutely won't come out that way. So you're going to see, as you said earlier, it's damage and attrition, and that's how this race is probably going to end up going. So yeah, absolutely, you could absolutely see a new name at the top of the board by the end of this race.
It really is, and exactly as you said, 4 wide. Heck, there might be a 5 wide, though. You got to watch out on how far right you go, because you will risk a slowdown penalty for entering the pit lane exit right there.
Right.
So,
yes, absolutely.
Have done, will do, and we'll probably keep doing it.
Yep, I've been there and done that myself. But we do know one thing for sure. Once we get through this tight first sector, they should probably be single file by the time they get to the hairpin, because that hairpin is basically one lane only for every class of cars that run on this track.
It is. The start of this race is going to be very interesting. If you're a fan of Sim Racing Stewards or the iRacing Reddit forum, whenever there is a series that's at Long Beach, usually the GT3s or IMSA, there is always the stack up in the hairpin moment where one guy really messes up the inside line, and then they all just get bunched up at the start of the race in the hairpin because somebody spun right there at the start of the race.
Yeah, absolutely.
Don't believe we'll be seeing. Ooh, that's a big hit by the 312 into the wall. We won't be seeing that here today, but it's happened, and it's always on rolling starts that has a little bit of craziness. I do know some leagues that whenever they come here, they say, okay, no actual racing until we're after the water fountain, and then we'll actually go green. And it's kind of like a safety-wise thing for everybody. Then
yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense. Delayed green flag start.
Yeah,
basically.
delayed green. And those types of races, they can get very interesting. Some say, oh, it kills the entire thrill of turn 1. I'm like, I'm pretty sure everybody wants to enjoy this whole race, not just go, I'm going to drive for 100 feet. All right, I've crashed out. I'm going to go watch TV and watch the Cowboys lose.
Absolutely. Yeah, definitely. It's as we were talking about the multi-class racing, if they had it done. So, yeah. So obviously that makes a lot of sense. But I think what you just said is they're not going to do that here. So it's going to be up to the competitors themselves to keep each other safe.
Yes.
To get through turn 1 through the fountain.
Yes.
And we don't need cars up in the flowers around the fountain.
Yeah, those are very beautiful flowers, and I believe you'd be fined if you go up in there.
That's right. So let's get this race going, and we'll have a good, clean start, hopefully, and then we can watch a nice 40-minute battle here.
Yeah, good 40-minute battle, 40-minute war, attrition. Ooh, that's a 297 in the wall of gold, sitting in 10th place. Driver is currently flying down the front straightaway right here, just across Pine Avenue. And, oh, big crash into the wall as Sam switched away right there, saying, you didn't see that. So, well, we didn't, as we were looking at Andrea Favini right now, heading across the line. And I don't know if you've actually driven on the Long Beach streets, but this part that they're on right now is actually going the opposite way of traffic. You would usually so they would turn it around, and it actually feels like you're driving in Europe for once. But it is banked right there in real life, and when you're driving it on the street, you're like, why is this banked? You would have no idea that there's a racetrack there because everything's just torn down. And you're like, wow, this is really pretty. Then you get to that turn, like, why is this part banked? No,
Yeah, for sure.
it's like the weirdest feeling ever because it's not that big of a bank, but it's a pretty reasonable bank right there. It's about 2 degrees.
Yeah, that's
maybe
a pretty
2 to 5 degrees, I
nice
believe.
corner through there. Get a little banking to keep some speed up in the car.
Yeah, I believe
yeah,
the
I've never
speed
been
limit right there is about 40 miles an hour, 30, 40.
Ooh, off the wall.
Ooh.
So if you're going to do that, you're going to want to hit that tire cushion as opposed to the concrete barrier.
Now, the thing is, I don't believe you want to hit the tires. Because
Well, I
if
mean-
you hit the tires, that pretty much sucks your car in, and you'll be hitting bang on with the concrete wall. Or you'll be getting stuck.
Yeah, no, we don't want to get stuck for sure. But the chance of survival may be a little better if you hit the tires. But yeah, obviously we don't want to hit any barriers or any other car while we're on the track. So
No touchy-whatchy.
that's right.
What you're saying, no touchy-touchy. Pit lane entry, very sharp to the right at the end of the hairpin. And pit lane exit. Remember, drivers have to use pit.
Barrier.
Oh, it's just so nice. There's going to be a lot of Americanisms here today, and both of us are okay with that. I don't know about Sam, but
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
I'm fine with that. We'll just mute Sam. Yorgmani in the chat. Have fun watching. LOL. We hope, Jorg, you have a fun time out there on track, and everybody else out there on track as we are setting up to go racing. Here is your starting lineup for today. Marco Pinero starts up on pole for Alex Kart Racing Raptor. And right beside him, Yorgmani starting up on pole for the Masters category there, followed by Andreas Bertoni, Felix Simos, and Fabio Scali on pole for the Spec 2 drivers. They're followed by Antonio Rees, Kane Lasky, Todd Hansen, Jason Green, Chris Murakami, Megan Overstreet, and Bradford Gold in 12th place. They're followed by Devin Kelleher, Flavio Andalo, Eduardo Dantes, Tom Gradwell, and Marco Trespidi, and Kurt Nuez in 18th. In 19th place, it is going to be Jeff Jacobson, followed by Mark Carter, Daniel Woods. Sorry about the graphics. Sam, hashtag by Sam. Chris Montgomery, Philip Berry, Andrea Favini, Charlie Vaccaro, Jim Brewster, Gary Woodbull, Ian Gibson, Paul Jackson, Andrew Love, Stevie Ray, Stephen Mitchells, Brad Cathcart, and Adam Bradshaw in 34th. They're followed by Jeff Cantor, Mike Knutson, Thor Tulo, David Swig, Michele Vagilini, and Kuzma Lesnoy, and Alan Degasius. At the back of our 41 car grid, Kuzma and Allen did not put in a valid lap time at the end of the grid, so I do not believe they're actually going to be there. But we do have 39 starters right now, and it's going to be a rolling start. Starting is going to be like, if it's going to be civil or is it going to be chaos? Hey, we're going to find out. We're riding on board of Brad Cathcart, looking at the beautiful Stevie Ray. Stephen Mitchell's also beautiful as well. Give that picture a like if you want. Also, like the video and subscribe to us here on Apex Racing TV for some of the best racing content on all of iRacing. And also, if you're interested in sim racing news, watch us every Monday on the Late Apex featuring our own Sam Fitzpatrick and Tim Cox. Pace car is off. Races in the hands of Marco Pinero as the field is bunching up right now after the hairpin. But it is green, green, green. Yorgmani getting jumped on as it onto the inside. The 116 car. Felix Samoas jumps him up into second place, right at the line. York Monty falling down 1, no, now 2 places. That's Andreas Bertoni looking down to the inside of York Monty as Pinero leads them in to turn 1. Pinero dives it up onto the inside of York Monty. A little bit of touch right there. Side by side they go into turn 1. There was a gentleman's agreement apparently, as everybody's taking that very cautiously, heading into the famous fountain turn.
Wow, it was a great start by everybody. Everything looked clean. Don't see anybody that's had to jump to the pits for damage.
And,
no.
That is the 945. Andrew Love going a little bit slow at the end of the flowers section. And it looks like there might have been a little bit of contact here and there, or Andrew just got a little bit offset. But everybody has made it through there. No stopped cars. One, I think Andrew just cut the inside corner just a little bit too much of the flower. But everybody else continue racing on. I don't see damage from anybody, as this is a nice move down to the inside for Daniel Wood, but he gets a pretty bad exit. Now he's under pressure by Philip Berry. Berry's on his inside. They're going to be side by side right now, as up ahead they're battling side by side, and they're battling side by side right here as they enter the parking lot.
Yeah, pretty clean start. Like I said, only had one car that's had to fall back, but everybody else has just kind of single filed up as we're going to the hairpin at speed for the first time.
Single file through the hairpin. I think one driver just tapped that inside wall just a bit, but everyone else kept on going. Let's take a look at our leaders. Marco Pinero, and feel a little bit safe. There's always going to be that one driver that wants to be a little bit risky.
That's right. Yeah, there's always the one that says, "Hey, I can make up a few spots here," and then realizes that no.
Like Megan Overstreet just did, down to the inside.
Absolutely great move on the inside there.
Thing is, she did that move and then chopped off a lot of speed, and here comes the 267 right back on Megan Overstreet. Devin Keller, and Devin down to the inside heading to the parking lot, gets that spot back on Overstreet, riding over those curbs. That is absolutely part of the racing surface here at Long Beach. I know a lot of people have a little gentleman rule, like it's like, hey, you can't really run on these curbs. iRacing rules, yes you can, but not too much though. This is York Monty going slow. I think Monty, he was in P2 and
oh no, there was
Monty was down in fourth. There was the 11th on Andreas Bertoni ahead of him, slamming into the wall. York Monty is back in third place.
Yep, just it's one of those things you push too hard and can't make it.
Chris Murakami is going slow. Murakami is plummeting down the standing. So what has happened to Chris Murakami? And this is we got Chris Murakami right here. Our timing tower just went all red, but I feel like, okay, you see Murakami, he went over this curve on the inside. Does he spin right here? No, he does not, but he's plummeting down the standings. I think he was in turn 1, so let's fast forward a little bit. Yep, this is turn 1. There is Chris Murakami behind the 242 ahead of him. And is this a case of hitting that inside? It's a spin.
Yep.
Luckily, though, he spun left, and that was out of everybody else's way. And everybody kept on going. No damage that I can see from anybody so far. No major damage. This is Megan Overstreet sitting in 12, chasing down the 267. Devin Keller again. Keller going a little bit wide off the hair, so she'll be able to attack. And diving into the pit lane, suddenly is the 297 of Bradford.
Early pit stop here.
Oh, look at the left side of that car.
Yeah, damage on the left.
Yeah, York Monty is falling down. This is not a drill. Monty is in 9th, and Monty's out of the race. York Monty has just towed. And as the Joker would say, and here we go, spinning into turn 1. Was he tapped? And collected by the 312, Todd Hansen. I think that might have been a self-spin, not a tap. It's very close. You might have to bring in VAR for that.
Yeah, it was like a self-spin, and I think after the first hit, he got the better of it and just said, "I need to get out of the way of the rest of the traffic before this becomes a lot worse."
And if you're a Chris Murakami, remember that championship gap. And look at that advantageous look down the inside. Well, there's
That
finding
was-
the apex, but I don't know if you would gain anything for that move. But yeah, Antonio Reese leading the Masters class right now, and we could be getting a good bag full of points right here because the top two in the Masters class are currently down in the field right now.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is going to be a shake-up.
This is a blue flag moment for Kane Lasky with the car ahead of him. Goes over those inside turtles as everyone's just trying to get through that lap traffic. Is that a cat car? Yes, that is.
Yeah, just try to do the best you can to just get out of everybody's way. And
Yeah,
let these
blue
keep
flags
racing.
here are so bad. You're like, I'm trying to. I know you're behind me. There ain't nothing I can really do.
Yeah, exactly. Now, I can take a line that's close to yours and run your pace until I can get out of the way, or I can slow down and hold you up. So what would you
Slow
like?
down. Somebody, I think, just went on a date with that wall and they got slapped. So 918
Well,
occurred.
Yeah, left side damage on his car.
Well, there's a little bit of a kiss to the 313 on the inside, and oh man, it is a train below him. He is being swarmed hurt. I think he's dropped 9 spots right there.
Yeah, so yeah, you can see the damage on the car, basically where the left side door would be at a door. So yes, he's definitely found the concrete barrier somewhere along the course.
Yeah, that would be the end. That left turn.
Yeah. And you see left front damage on that car, 510 a swing, where he looks like he's hit something, or it looks like it. Isn't it? It looks like
Yes,
the
it
left
does.
front. Yeah, the left front looks like it's maybe crushed good just a bit.
Yeah, the front left. I'm trying to find a point on the track where it's front left. It might be the exit of the fountain. He might have hit
Yeah.
that inside wall. I've done that thousands of times.
That's a good call. That absolutely would be a good call.
Knowing from experience, it's usually the left side of the car that we see damage, but the spot that we see damage, like you said, would be on that door panel from drivers hitting the wall pretty square on. The other side that you would see that on would be turning left out of the fountain. You will rarely see right-hand damage on the car side.
Yeah, the only place you normally would see right-hand damage would be if you got too tight at the hairpin.
Turn
Or-
one, two.
Yeah, or turn one. Sorry, Mouth's not wanting to take the day off today. So
Hey, no, knowing after the 24, everybody is like that. Todd Hansen chasing down Kane Lasky ahead of him. How fast that lapped car, so here they go. One, but that would be Daniel Wood diving into the pit lane. Whenever somebody dives into the pits, it's so sudden.
yeah, it's a very, very tight pit entry here. It's almost like a 90-degree turn to the right, and then another 90-degree turn to the left. It's almost like a chicane to enter the pits.
It is, and if you're in a pack of cars, you're desperate on fuel, and the guy behind you goes onto the inside while you're on your pit in lap, oh, it's a nightmare fuel situation. This is the 242 getting a good opportunity. Fabio Scali to the inside of Todd Hansen. He got an amazing run out of that corner, and yeah, Fabio jumps up into 6th place for the lead of Spec 2.
This is a good battle right here.
Fantastic
Ooh.
fight.
Ooh.
Woo-hoo-hoo. Man, Todd got so close to that wall, he signed his name on it. Some drivers have already signed their name onto that wall, their signature just being the color of the car.
There's a lot of inside curve in that right here.
Yeah, that inside curb, you're allowed to take that inside curb. I've learned this from the guys over at Apex Racing Academy in their weekly coaching sessions for IMSA, actually, and Formula 4, where they all, and touring cars, where they've all just said, this inside curb, it gives you an X here, but not here. So delay your inside line until right now, and then you can hook that inside curb, and it kind of carries your car around there because these cars, they like to understeer a lot. And it's kind of awkward heading to that corner. Stevie Ray's now into the pit lane. And when Stevie Ray goes, everybody else knows when it's time to
It's
go.
time to pit, yeah. So
Yeah.
we're ready for the undercuts now, so.
Stevie, the master of the undercut. undercut. The undercuts didn't work out for a lot of drivers last time by, as we saw a lot of drivers run out of fuel at the end. And we saw last week the driver who won, Marco Pinero, pull off the undercut because he was bored.
that was a great interview. I would have to admit. So yeah, I didn't have anybody around me, so I just decided to come in at the end and just see what happened. So,
I think it was Felix who did that, not Marco.
yeah, I think so.
Yeah, it was Felix. Yeah, I was bored. All right, that's one way. It's one strategy, as this is Devin Keller trying to hold off Dantas, but Dantas took a very wide line. It's there. It's very diving into the inside of that triple loop, into the parking lot right ahead of Mark Carter, and Mark right on the tail, wanting to get that back. A little bit of a stack up right behind him, and into the wall. Phil Berry signs the line. Signs the dotted line off the exit right there. I'm gonna be honest. I want one of these tracks to just have a white wall on the spot where everybody hits it. Take that piece of wall off with all the paint still on there and sell that an art piece for charity.
Yeah,
As this is Chris Montgomery, the best seat of the house, side by side with cars exiting the pit lane. The very tight line heading into turn one. And Barry falls to Carter as Carter takes it back as Chris gets a little friendly at the back end of that Triple Eight.
Yeah, and now you see why there's a penalty if you move too far to the right going down into turn one. Because when you start, there's a spin in front there. So once you see the,
you see that in the background? Somebody just went screaming into the tire barrier.
I'm going to say that one looked like there was not more than one car involved in that.
It was Keller. This is Keller and Dantas. Does Keller get tapped right here? Does he take too much speed?
Just lost it.
And bam, into the wall. Now, this is that tire barrier that you were...
Get collected in that spin at the same time.
I'm going to be honest. If we're seeing a clean car at the end of this race, I'll be surprised. I see a lot of bent outer shells of these cars. I don't know if it's sheet metal or where are the outside of these cars?
I don't know actually. Fiberglass?
Fiberglass.
I don't know. I mean, probably.
I know
basically just
fiberglass.
Yeah, fiberglass wrapped roll cage essentially is what we're looking at. So yeah, the cleaner the car is the ones that you see that are with no scrape marks and no damage.
Once you're locked down, it's a long time.
You know, sometimes wrecking early is better than wrecking late, right? Because you do have at least time to get back out on track and make up some time, make up some positions, and then as people start having major problems and have to come in. As we see there, losing the rear of the 312 car Hanson over those curbs. Sometimes it just helps if you get that wreck early as opposed to late.
Now, I was looking for what the chassis, the outer shell was made of to find out any information. I did not find out this, but I do have a fun fact about the Spec Racer Ford. It wasn't initially released as a Spec Racer Ford when it was first introduced. Do you know what brand first made the Spec Racer?
Ooh.
It's a combination of companies, so there are two right answers technically.
All right, can you give me a hint as to when they were created?
It was before a certain company, well, actually, we got a good side-by-side fight in the 933, and that's Favini going
way off the pace
on the inside.
I think he was just letting
So
traffic
there's actually, okay, so it's made its debut in 1984.
Okay, so let's go with Honda.
No.
No, okay.
Though Sam was very close. I don't think y'all heard what Sam, but Sam said Chevrolet. It's close, but it's not right.
Is it a General Motors brand?
I believe so now. But I'm not a big General Motors guy, even though I drive a Cadillac.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I actually couldn't really. I mean, I could guess 1,000 things, but I'm probably wrong about.
It was a Renault Jeep.
Okay, that is interesting.
It was first manufactured by Renault Jeep Sport USA and made its debut in 1984. It was then developed using the Renault AMC 4-cylinder onboard powertrain.
Okay.
And then when AMC sold off to Chrysler in 1989, was renamed to the Spec Racer.
Passed for the lead there.
And passed for the lead. Pinero onto the inside ahead of Felix, and Marco Pinero gets the lead. The down is under pressure. That was Marco Trespini down the inside right there. A little bit of break in history. There was some good battles in there, but I saw that fact and I'm like, I have to get this out there. Something good in it. Chris, I believe that is Chris Murakami. Yes, he is. Murakami bringing his way back up the grid, and right behind him, I don't know if you saw that, that was York Monty on his tail, but remember, York Monty is a lot now.
Yeah.
And Murakami up onto the inside ahead of them. It's not going to be able to make that move work, but it is a good fight with Jim Brewster for 16th place. Remember, Murakami dropped to the end of the field during lap 1. Seemed like the only car to have an issue. Well, he's not having issues any bit now. He's looking down the inside right now with a head full of steam. Side by side they go, and Murakami brings it right back. And as soon as that move was made, another move was made for the lead. As that is Pinero going slow. Pinero, that is, well, I can tell you what has happened right there. He's hit turn 1. I will put money on that.
Yeah, coming down. He's got the right line, just right on the edge there. Oh, and there's a car.
There's a spun car right there. He saw the yellow, and you just panic when you see that yellow. Pinero in the wall. A lot of damage on the right side of the car. So Felix Samoas retakes the lead. And I see Megan Overstreet behind him. She is a lap down now. She waited to the pits on lap 8.
Yeah, I was looking at time in the score and saw her dropping down. So I'm wondering if she had an issue also. Maybe she smacked the walls somewhere.
I'm going to be honest. I feel like we're going to be saying everybody who's gotten to the pits has had damage at least once.
Right.
And I will not be surprised if Marco Pinero heads into the pits right now. And yep, there he goes. Taking that right-hand chicane. It's a very tight chicane. It's kind of like it's a tight chicane, but it's not a aggressive chicane entry.
Yeah, yes, it's not, but it's one of those that you can't really go full tilt into the
full tilt into it. You'll just crash.
Exactly.
He's also joined by Todd Hansen into the pit lane.
And then, of course,
we were just there, Laguna Seca.
The Laguna Seca. Oh, God, yeah, the 90-degree left. Spa, the endurance pits at Spa, where you have to take it, is very, very tight as well.
Funny story about that. One of my teammates actually flipped the car in the Spa 24 hours without that part. He grip rolled.
That doesn't surprise me. I've seen people getting in and running up on, especially on the exit or the mid part of Spa, where it comes out through basically the corner where La Source is, where you'll catch the outside of the outside pit wall and flip the car over. And then I've seen where you spin coming in the Spa, and it's the Austin Powers, back up, move forward for the next 30 minutes trying to get the car.
Or in my case, the Daytona exit where I Austin Powers 7 different teams at the same time. That was the last time I ever drove the Daytona 24. You're welcome,
yeah, so
everybody. That I do not end up in your split. If you see me in your split and I'm coming out of the pits, pray you don't have to come out of the pits when I'm driving.
yeah, so we're seeing the two leaders where we were, Murakami and Monty, front to back. But the difference is Murakami's in P14 on the lead lap, and Monty's in P36 on lap down. Yeah. So
he's just praying for an easy time, hopefully a little bit more chaos out of him. See if he gets some more freebies.
I did too. I thought I saw
that with the wall or each other. If you're Jeff Cantor, you had that twice.
Yeah, that was. I wonder if that was just a follow the leader. Follow the leader's line.
Pretty much is though. With Devin, I feel like that was just wrong place, wrong time, because he had a great run that everybody else that he was battling. I think he tried to get out of the way, and then Jeff turned right. And Devin looking for another move down to the inside. Can Devin make this move work on Jeff? Well, he's looking down the inside. He's occupying that spot. He's not really sending it to that spot. And I think he knows that Jeff has that damage, so he's just going to be looking down that straightaway for a better line and a better run. He goes a late apex, ace it on that hairpin as they are not heading into the pit lane. But you can see that damage on the front left of that
so he should be able to get a good run because of the arrow damage that the car in front Cantor car has. So there we go. Should be a fairly easy pass around.
Alongside, looking down the inside, and sent it, and it landed. Good move by Devin Keller right there. Jim Brewster under pressure. Side by side with 921. 921 has damage on the front left. That's Charlie Vaccaro. Vaccaro, nice over under. There's side by side. Kevin Vaccaro holding around the outside, heading down the boulevard. No, but he's got a nice little switchback of speed. And Charlie, hello, Charlie, making that move work. And you can see the left side of that car kind of looks like an old Twisted Sister NASCAR. It's all bent up right there.
Yeah, absolutely. It's not quite the same shape it was when it left the pit lane to start the race.
Yeah, there might be I'm glad there's not tech inspection after this race because everybody would be disqualified.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's kind of like when the Skippies first got the new damage model and teams were actually giving each other rear wing damage during the race. And you would gain 10 miles an hour on the straightaways. I'm glad we fixed that within a week.
And
that's a wall tap for Bertoni. Just rode on board with that. You actually see the little bit of damage on the right-hand side from that.
So Murakami is in the pits now, so he's taking his service. Get back out. We should be getting the rest of the field in the next 3 or 4 minutes.
Yeah, this is the top drivers who have gone to the pits, Bertoni and Panero. Panero, we saw that with that damage, and Bertoni right there, Panero just had that big slide. So the head of the field right now, you really can't tell because everybody has had damage here, there. It's taking a lot of unplanned pit stops. That was another wall tap back in there. I think that was Jeff Cantor. And that was another big hit. Tom Hansen that's hit the wall. I just heard Sam actually just say ow in the most monotonous way ever.
Brewster looks like his car's pretty straight.
Yeah, it's probably the most straight car looking here. Give it a few laps.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
he hasn't gone to the pit lane yet, so I feel like he's just waiting for that opportunity to head into the pit lane. Vaccaro, well, that car, it was banged up. He had a lot of speed, but I think it's a little bit too much damage for him.
No, I don't think so. I think he's out there till the car runs out of fuel, so he can come in and get his pit service. He's in position for the.
Well, he's actually, when I said he's not going to undercut today, he's gone into the pit lane.
Well, I mean, it's still, I don't know if I think we're past the point where
we are past the point of no return. Though Long Beach is famous in the Apex Racing Team sphere of the track where you can go the entire race without pitting.
Yeah, the Jamie Fluke VRS no pit stop challenge.
The Jamie Fluke McLaren, OP strategy. Do not shift when holding down the clutch moment.
Yeah, absolutely. I've seen him do that a couple of times, and it still boggles my mind.
That full video, I believe, is on the Apex Racing Team YouTube channel.
It should be.
Or it's on the Apex Racing TV. It's on one of our YouTube channels, either on Apex Racing Team. It's on Apex Racing Team. Thank you, Sam. I believe Sam is the one that uploaded that.
Well, see, here's the thing.
Graphical. Very, very slow. The front left wheel is not supposed to be pointed that way.
No, it's not. I was wondering if he actually hit anything.
On the right into the pit lane, though. That will be another penalty on the serve. And bring out the Austin Powers moment.
Here we go.
1 point.
No.
2-point turn. Okay, you got this one. You got it. You got 3-point turn. Don't hit the wall. Oh, just barely scraped alongside.
Get it turned into the pit entry.
Can he turn right, though? Yes, he does.
Yeah, all right. Awesome.
All right, he's made it to the pit lane, as well as Felix Simoes.
So race leader then. Lasky is now taking over the lead.
Yeah, Kane Lasky going to be leading a lap, or going to try to lead a lap. Ahead of Jason Green and Felix Trespidi. This next start. Out there's Marco Pinero. He's already gone to pit lane. Simoes is out on the pit exit. Here comes Pinero down that front straightaway. He's crossing the start-finish line. Where is Felix? Felix is barely ahead. He's just exited the pit lane, but watch him off pit exit. There he is. There's Felix. He's got a car on his inside right now. This is Pinero's chance to retake the lead. Felix takes the very. Oh, Pinero hit the wall.
Oh, it's just too hot.
Oh, I feel like Pinero saw that was his chance to go for the lead, and was just, I'm going to send it, and unfortunately, I think locked up the brakes and into the wall for Marco Pinero. The most unfortunate end to Marco Pinero's chances of run. No, his car looks pretty okay. That was a big lick to the wall, though.
That was a big hit. I mean, it was just basically almost straight out. So maybe not suspension damage, definitely aero damage.
Yeah, his car doesn't look that damaged. His car is pretty much rugged as a Jeep, as some might say.
Ooh, maybe so. They did call back, by the way.
I know.
Lasky's in the pits.
Okay, Lasky heading into the pits. He was a few seconds behind Felix. So Felix should be regaining that lead right back. Marco Trespidi is currently out there 25 seconds. And, he's just had an incident. Trespidi, well, he's gone into the pit lane now, but I feel like he might have had an incident at the hairpin. Did he run out of fuel? Did he run out of fuel entering the pit lane or exiting the hairpin?
Oh, wow.
You know what? Hey, Sam, can we get the replay?
Yeah.
Well, ask him. We shall receive. This is what happened. I think he might have ran out of.
So he had a.
Yeah, the nightmare situation.
Right.
Well, as I said at the start, you want to go on to the pit lane. There's cars on the inside. I feel like that car on the inside is that Stevie Ray.
I couldn't tell.
Actually, no. I feel like that was Felix. That was inside.
Maybe so. But
and
yeah,
this is Keller for the lead.
Yeah, just took all the track on the exit of the hairpin and left the inside open, and somebody drove through it, and now he's blocked from getting in the pits.
Yeah, the nightmare situation. Hansen, a little bit of a moment in the fountain turn. Mike Knudsen, I believe, Spec 2 driver, chasing down Kurt ahead of him. And Marco Pinero, update on his pace. Quote, rapid. And he is catching back up to hard fight. And we got a good fight for the lead. Simoes and Bertoni are separate just by 2/10, and Marco Pinero is right there. There's a little bit of fight, I tell you. Bertoni goes for a move, and Felix goes side by side with him. Pinero's going to be back in this fight.
Yeah, absolutely. It's all it takes is one side-by-side battle.
All it takes is one corner. Hello, Briggs. It's the 5'10", David Swig.
Well, yeah, as we were saying, it just takes one side-by-side battle through a couple of corners here, and you've brought a lot of cars back. back to you to re-engage.
Ooh, that's a big
no.
hit into the wall by Samoas. And now Bertoni takes the lead right in front of Marco Pinero. And if you look at last lap, Pinero's last lap time was 0.3 faster than Bertoni and 0.7 faster than Felix. So Marco Pinero is flying right now. And he's chasing this fight. And Bertoni going slow out of this exit. Felix has got front end damage. Bertoni going slow, and there's Marco Pinero. Pinero in the draft. Felix goes down low to block off Pinero and go for that move, but he gets onto the brakes, and that was a tactical. I'm going to look down the inside block to benefit himself and deny Pinero for going for the lead into that corner as they race into the hairpin right now. Pinero is struggling with connection issues. Big lockup entering the hairpin, and I feel like he's caught damage after that.
Yeah, I think so. And I was wondering when Felix hit the wall, it kind of looked like maybe Bertoni bounced off of the rear also. So I don't know if Bertoni's got damage on the front of his car or not.
I know Felix got damage, Pinero's got damage. Bertoni looks clean, but I believe he does have damage on one little bit side of his car. Maybe just a little bit of scrape here and there, but yeah, on the right side of that car, it is a little bit crumpled. Well, it is crumpled on the left side now. It has tapped the wall off the exit. You definitely need a new camera set just to show on how close to the wall that this fight for the lead is going. There's a Dantis.
Really tight racing.
And I don't want to leave this fight for the lead. Sam, can we get that? Please. And here's the Spec 2 leader, Fabio Scali. Sam's being smart.
So I will say this. I will say Reese is also gaining time, the Masters class leader, because of the battling up front. So he's actually trying to pull himself into this battle also. I'm just hoping that because I'm an old guy and I'm doing these races now, that we're going to get a Masters driver winning one of these races. That's my hope.
Well, we did. At the end of last season.
No, for this season.
For this season. Okay,
yeah, for this season.
For your
yeah.
But
yeah,
we did have the first ever with York Monty winning a Masters overall in week 13 and week 12.
I was going to ask a
question.
question.
Week 12 he won it.
Oh, okay.
Not week 13.
Okay. So I was actually going to ask earlier. As we were talking about this, talking about the no pit stop. Is this mandatory pit stop? Could they actually try and do a no pit stop race with these cars?
No.
Okay.
Stevie knows how much fuel to put in these cars. Stevie knows what the type
Oh,
of thing
that's right. We are running fixed setups. So
yeah,
yes. Okay.
They're not fixed. They're not fixed.
Oh, they're not
it's
fixed.
Fixed fuel.
Fixed fuel. Okay.
Because it can't set the amount of fuel that the drivers can use, but keep it open setups.
Okay. Yeah.
The way that most series
just
should be.
max fuel restriction. So. Okay.
It's not max fuel restriction. It's funny thing enough, you can't actually determine how much fuel you put in the setup in the Spec Racer 4.
Really?
Yeah, it's only full amount of tank and then the setup. And so it's up to Stevie to set it to about halfway or at least as much as he can. And it might change here and there, but depending on driver styles, it is a little bit hit and miss. Back to our fight for the lead. Andrew Bertoni out of field. So Marco Pinero, your top three for Spec Racer Fords here at Long Beach. Under 2 minutes to go, 2 minutes and at least 10 seconds remaining. So 2 laps to go here at Long Beach. Here for the Spec Racer Ford Weekend Warriors. Bertoni goes a little bit wide and right on his tail. Felix Samoas is right there. And he's just waiting for that opportunity to be making that move and waiting for a mistake or that opportunity to show up for himself. And the best chance he's got is on that straightaway. And woo, a little bit of a wall kiss right there for Bertoni.
Yeah, I think
that is a sight to have in your mirror.
Absolutely, yeah. I think with less than a second between the top three, I think that this battle is going down to the wire. As we can see, you can see Pinero in the right front, the right front with aero damage. But yeah, I think he's still obviously he was just fast. He's been fast all season, so
Bertoni looks
he's
down
gonna
to
push.
inside to defend from Samoa. Samoa's falling to Panero does not. Panero is waiting. And you want to know what he's waiting for? He's waiting for that white flag. Which, speaking of the white flag, it's coming right now. The white flag is in the air by Barney. 1 lap to go here at Long Beach between Bertoni, Samoas, and Panero. The gap is a little bit separated right now. Panero, he's got 2 cars to overtake Bertoni. He's got a good gap to Samoa behind him. If you're Marco Panero, this is the lap you got to send it and just go for it. See that defensive line that Samoas is taking to defend for Panero. Panero not going for that move. They're looking very straight for that. Bertoni, another mistake heading into turn 1 once again. Felix, just like last lap, is right on his tail. Here comes Marco Panero right behind him. And just trying to force a mistake by both these drivers. We saw one mistake by Bertoni. That's Colton back up once again. A big wiggle over the curves, and here comes Panero. Panero had an amazing lap. He's looking for that outside line. Now he's looking down to the inside. He fakes. His only chance is going to be at the hairpin, and there's a lap car off the exit, and that's caught off Bertoni and Samoas right there. Panero, I think, saw it. Heading in for one last time into the hairpin. Who's got the car dialed in off the exit? Bertoni goes a little bit slow. Here comes Samoas. Samoas is in the draft. He's going to be a drag race down the straightaway here, down Sunset Boulevard at Long Beach, but it's going to be Bertoni taking the win. Andreas Bertoni wins it here at Long Beach.
Oh wow, what a great ending to that! It was just tight to the very end. What a great race!
Great race, great drive. Andreas Bertoni takes the win, as well as Antonio Reis takes another Masters victory 2 weeks in a row. And there is Fabio Scali takes the Spec 2 race victory here at Long Beach. And I'm going to say thank you to Race Voice, Go Fast and Speed Voice. They are bringing you your winners here today. Winners, use Race Voice. Thank you, Race Voice, for everything you do to the Spec Racer for Weekend Warriors Association, as well as the Stevie Ray Esports racing league that we see on Tuesday nights here on Apex Racing TV. Stephen Mitchell still got fights over the field. Stephen Mitchell is defending from Charlie Vaccaro. Saul Vaccaro, he's had a up and down day. Can he have a final move into this hairpin? That it's a tight line by Mitchell, but he's a line by Vaccaro! He's gone wide and he's hit the wall. And I think Vaccaro, that's Gibson chasing out Vaccaro, but he's just too far away for Ian Gibson. Charlie Vaccaro keeps 26th place, but a big missed opportunity there at the hairpin.
Yeah, just too much on the throttle, coming out, too much steering input, trying to get out of that corner. Looks like the rear came around, slapped the outside wall, and lost all of his momentum to try and make a run toward the line.
Well, we got drivers finishing, limping, crawling their way to the line right now. Let's bring our full-on results. I believe we do do have the full-on results, I believe. Sam is arguing with the computer, but the computer said, all right, Sam wins.
Nice. Nope.
Those are the qualifying results. Here are the race results. Andreas Bertoni takes the win ahead of Felix Samoas and Marco Panero, your top 3. Antonio Reis takes the win in the Masters category, followed by Kane Lasky, Jason Green, Eduardo Dantes, Flavio Andalo. Fabio Scali takes the win in Spec 2, followed by Tom Gradwell, Marco Trespidi, Chris Murakami, Todd Hansen, Adam Bradshaw, Jeff Jacobson, Devin Keller, Philip Berry, and Jim Brewster in 18th. Megan Overstreet finished in 19th, followed by Stevie Ray, Andrew Love, Kurt Newens, Mike Knutson, and Jeff Cantor, Stephen Mitchell, Charlie Carl, and Ian Gibson. They're followed by Andrea Favini with York Monty and David Swig in 30th. Paul Jackson in 31st. Gary Woodbolt, Chris Montgomery, Brad Carts, and Bradford Gold, Dan Wood, and Michelle Vagellini. And they're followed by Mark Carter and Thor Tulo at the end of our cars that took the start here today. At the end of our 39 car grid, Cooper Leslane, Alan DeGassias, And they get a complimentary shout out, but they did not take the start. And Charles, I believe we are joined in the booth once again for 2 weeks in a row by Antonio Reese.
Hey, Antonio, congratulations. Another victory for you there. And it just seemed like today was just try not to kill your car, and you're going to be successful. So talk about your race a bit.
Hey, good night, everyone. Yeah, it was really like that. There is nothing more to say about.
Well, cool. Once again, congratulations. Is there anybody you want to thank?
Oh, I want to thank to Steve Ray and organizing this and the father of this series. To you guys on the booth, to following us and broadcasting, and as well for the sponsors, our sponsors, the Race Voice, and for the drivers and all the people watching and my family. Thanks for having me, guys. Have a good time.
Congratulations, Antonio. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Antonio is always so fun to have in the booth. Congrats on another race victory in his class. As next week, we head over the pond to, I believe, one of Sam's favorite tracks, Brands Hatch Grand Prix Circuit.
I love Brands Hatch also.
Yeah, Brands Hatch is going to be a lot of fun with these cars. Turn 1 is going to be interesting to see everybody take that. I know I have a little bit love-hate relationship with Brands Hatch, but I know some of these drivers just absolutely love that circuit. Some drivers can take it or leave it, but I can tell you a lot of them are going to be loving the fact that the walls are not right up against you, but we will be seeing on how these drivers take to the English countryside, the South English countryside, in the hilly nature of Brands Hatch next week. Thank you everybody for joining us here on Apex Racing TV for another wonderful race of the Spec Racer Ford Weekend Warriors here from Long Beach, presented by Race Voice. I've been joined by Charles Bushell with Sam Fitzpatrick in the production booth. I'm Austin Knight, and I hope y'all have a good night.
Are you struggling for consistency in your sim racing? Does your iRating look like a roller coaster? If so, we have good news for you. The way to get more consistent is to first understand what you're doing differently than the professionals. And VRS is the answer. With our competitive subscription, you will have the telemetry, setups, tutorials, and everything else you need to fully analyze your driving. Our data packs and the ability to compare your driving with the best in the world will show you exactly where to adjust your inputs, change your driving line, and shave seconds off of your lap times. And our powerful and precise Direct Force Pro wheelbase and precision pedals are being used by some of the world's best drivers. All these champions agree that VRS hardware is not just the best on the market, it's also priced well below the competition. So if you're looking to upgrade to direct drive and the best pedals in sim racing, VRS is your answer. If you want to get better, get faster, and make it happen sooner rather than later, you owe it to yourself to find out why so many people are switching to VRS. You'll be so glad that you did. Visit www.virtualracingschool.com and learn why the best use VRS.